So my name is Dominique. We have Liz, Maria, Bianca, and Jasper, and we're Elevate Communications. So this is a little overview of our client. For those of you who don't know, this semester we are paired with Capillary Special Olympics of Louisiana, or CASOL, and their mission is to provide year-round sports training and athletic competition in a variety of Olympic-type sports for all children and adults with intellectual disabilities, giving them continued opportunities to develop physical fitness, demonstrate courage, experience joy, and participate in a sharing of gifts, skills, and friendship with their families, other Special Olympic athletes, and the community. So a little bit of background about CASOL. It's a 501c3 nonprofit, and it serves 7 parishes in the Baton Rouge area. And Charles Guillory has been our primary contact throughout the semester. And so the two main issues that we kind of recognized in our first meeting with Charles was that CASOL had issues with funding and then also differentiation between the statewide organization, the national organization, and CASOL. So we developed 3 objectives: awareness, acceptance, and action. And our first objective was for awareness. So we wanted mothers in the capital area, ages 25 to 50, to have an effect on awareness, specifically to communicate to a larger audience information about CASOL and the local benefits that come from donations, and our campaign again goes from now until 2016. So then our second objective is acceptance. So basically we wanted to reinforce to at least 5,000 people that all funds raised in the capital area benefit athletes from the capital area. And then our last acceptance was action. And so this goal, we wanted to increase fundraising by $5,000 for CASOL by November of next year.
For the start of our campaign, we conducted primary research. We created a survey in Qualtrics that allowed us to efficiently analyze our results, and we distributed the survey via social media. And the composition of the survey was 36 questions aimed to evaluate participants' awareness, acceptance, and actions towards CASOL. We had 4 sections in the survey. We had general knowledge of Special Olympics, behaviors regarding CASOL, attitudes towards CASOL, and demographic and psychographic information. The types of questions we had were yes or no, Likert scale, and public perception index. We had the infographic design based on the results of the survey, thanks to Jasper. 94% of Louisiana residents were Louisiana residents. 72% of participants live in one of the 6 capital area parishes. And 84% of the participants were Caucasian, 85% single, and 90% had no children. And 44% of the participants were Catholic, 35% Christian, and 42% of participants have a family income of $80,000 or more.
So based off of our demographic information that we received from this survey, we created our target audience for this campaign. We really wanted to hone in, identify who that individual would be that we're really trying to reach out to. So this is just a little bit of an overview where we're looking for moms, specifically moms of 2 or more children in the capital area, aged 25 to 50. They have a religious affiliation of some kind. They are also married, have a bachelor's degree, and they have a very active social life. They're that, soccer mom who goes to every game, hangs out with everybody, says, come over and have food at our house. That's the mom that we're trying to target. So, but from that information, we created Maggie. So, meet Maggie, everybody. Maggie is our target audience. She's our key public. She's the person that we want to connect with this campaign and really drives home the purpose. So every time we've created something, we revert back to her to make sure she would understand what we're talking about. So, we launched a capital campaign that began with our event, Raise the Roof. And our campaign, although Raise the Roof had its own messaging and its own slogan, our overall slogan for this campaign was, what we raise here stays here. So for this, we utilized social media, the internet, and a little bit of print material as well. From our research, we found that our target audience was primarily on Facebook and Instagram, which is great because that's the 2 platforms that CASOL was currently using. So we were able to utilize that further. We also used e-blasts and e-newsletters to communicate with the public as well. So we had that balanced out with some traditional media. We sent out media alerts, press releases, and had physical brochures to hand out at the event to really gain as much media exposure as we possibly could. So this is just kind of a long list of the general tactics that we had created for CASOL. We're going to go into each one a little bit deeper. We're really excited to share this with you guys. We worked really hard, and we're really excited with how it turned out. So, as we mentioned before, there's been a really difficult time with capital area differentiating itself from the state organization. We wanted people to understand that when they're giving local, they're going local, they're picking that, what we raise here stays here. That's our slogan. We want people to understand that. So we created a capital area specific logo, and then also created our campaign slogan, what we raise here stays here, which is on all of our printed materials, digital materials, everything. We created a new media list for them to accompany our new media kit, and that's what we use to pitch Raise the Roof to the media. And we also created a content calendar for both the event and for the overall next 2016 through this time next year. We found that these posts were so successful just leading up to the event. The engagement was great. We're going to talk about those results a little later. And so we decided that it would be great to continue that calendar through 2016. So we talked about action previously. These are some awareness posts. And then the next slide also shows some of our acceptance posts. We really want people to understand the messaging. So first we tell them about it. Then we're going to do some Trivia Tuesday posts where we're seeing if they're comprehending it. And then we're doing some action-based posts where we're challenging them. Hey, come out here, now do something about it. Now you're understanding the messaging, so let's continue to move forward. Then Jasper and I had the awesome opportunity to collaborate on a pamphlet. We designed the messaging for the whole pamphlet to be centered around what we raise here stays here once again. And it's very capital area specific. It gets into numbers and details on how much it costs us to host an event, how you can be involved in the capital area. They didn't have anything prior to this that was very capital area based, and so Jasper and I really enjoyed working on that.
Right, so the biggest point that we wanted to get across with the brochure was to give somebody that knew nothing about the organization everything they needed to know in one kind of something they could put in their bag or their pocket or keep with them at all times. So we kind of went with the red design to stay with the Special Olympics type of color scheme. We have the slogan on there, the new logo, Facebook and Instagram logos. This is actually the back side of the pamphlet, the trifold pamphlet. On the inside, we tried to focus on some pictures from actual capital area athletes, and these were photos that had been taken previously that were posted on the Capital Area Special Olympics Facebook page. And one of the biggest things we wanted to get across was break down how much it actually costs per athlete to put on an event. And we also included a donation card for people to make a donation with the brochure. Moving on to the promotional video, we had great opportunity to go kind of tell a small story. I would say a small story. It's a pretty interesting story of Charles's kind of path with his son Donnie and how they bonded through Special Olympics. I'm going to show you that now.
Should we turn off the light?
He has really been an inspiration to me, but to see him do so much and excel so well in sports is really an inspiration to me. He's an extremely good bowler. I've seen him go out and run 11 miles with the torch run, and it's just a real inspiration to watch him participate. Well, we got involved in Special Olympics when Donnie was like 7 years old. There weren't many opportunities for him to participate in sports, and he really wanted to do that. So Special Olympics provided that opportunity for him to be able to interact and play sports just like all other children had the opportunity to do. I guess one of my proudest moments when we went up to Connecticut for the World Games, where there were 170 countries participating in that, and he managed to win a gold medal at that time. So that was one of my proudest moments.
They were medal, fun, having fun, horses, horseback, wanting, compete, and having fun.
There are a lot of things that he's achieved in Special Olympics that I never did anticipate that he could do, and how well he does things. It's amazing. A lot of people think Special Olympics is just one big event a year, but it's not. It's multiple sports held year-round. So that gave him a chance to do that. It let him become more social, allowed him to be more open, and he could communicate better with his friends. And it was a big social aspect to it too. So that's one of the reasons that we really got him involved.
Compete.
What else?
And having fun.
You remember what happened to your skate before you went?
I broke it.
What did you have to do with it before you could go for a gold medal? Do you remember what happened? Remember when your skate came apart? So how did they fix it?
Tape,
Okay.
duct tape over it, over his gate.
I think it's improved my relationship with Donnie by the fact that he's out and participating. I get to see him. I get a chance to see how well he does. He likes for us to come out and watch him participate in the sport. So there's a bonding process there that's kind of special, I think, and it's really deepened our relationship. Capital Area Special Olympics represents 7 parishes surrounding Baton Rouge, and now we have 15 events a year. Last year we had 1,528 athletes involved in the program, so we've been real pleased with the progress we've made over those few years. If you have an athlete that can participate, you need to get them out. You need to get them involved for a lot of reasons, for their own personal gains and pride they'll take in themselves. If you're a volunteer and you come out thinking sometimes you're doing it to help out the poor little kids, you find out when you get out there that these are athletes that participate and do a really good job and practice hard. And I think you go away feeling a lot better and inspired after you've been there. And to any kind of donors, we don't charge anything to the athletes to participate in any of our sports. So we're all privately funded. We don't get any government funding. So we need support from our local businesses and to help make this program better. I think I would tell anybody that wants to get involved in Special Olympics at any level that it can be life-changing. Everybody that ever gets involved, even with just a single competition, comes back and even years later will talk about that competition and say what a tremendous experience it was for them.
So the biggest kind of thing we wanted to bring across with that video is to just tell a specific athlete's story. And I think there are probably more stories, maybe not as good as yours, Charles, but maybe there are some good stories out there that that kind of Capital Area Special Olympics needs to tell. This is just kind of an example we wanted to bring across, just to kind of promote not only how athletes inspire just everyday individuals like yourself, but how they can inspire other families to get involved or people to donate. All right, another thing, the MailChimp redesign. That was kind of one of the first things that Charles brought to our attention, was that the original MailChimp was it was very, how do you say this? It was just busy. It was very blocky. There was just not enough room for kind of interactivity or visual communication. So we took, this is the before and the after. We kind of added the donation button right here and the volunteer button, which kind of gave people a direct opportunity to get involved. The media kit was another thing that we wanted to put the new logo on. Capital Area Special Olympics did not have a specific media kit. It was kind of statewide branded, and there was nothing that they could give to local media contacts instantly to just spread their message. And also included photos of actual Capital Area athletes to use for press publication. Sponsorship packet was another thing that we kind of worked. I know Liz wrote most of it, and Tori designed the rest. It was kind of something that we wanted to use not only for the Raise the Roof event, but also for any future events. You could probably take the structure of the sponsorship packet and sell the same type of sponsorship deals to other companies in the future. And lastly, the Maggie infographic was kind of it's funny, we've introduced Maggie so many times to the class, and she's still 25 to 50, $45,000 average yearly income, 2 or more children, she has a strong religious background, she's a Capital Area resident, and she has a bachelor's degree.
And our final kickoff campaign kickoff event for the campaign was obviously Raise the Roof. And so this, I feel like, was our baby for our class. So seeing it succeed was really a really big deal. And so this is a fundraising event for the 3 nonprofits that we all had at this class. So Castle, Youth Oasis, Children's Shelter, and Free Buddy. And so these are some of the events from the event. We'll have to see. But we had over 210 people show up to the event when we only anticipated 150. That was a huge success. Tons of great silent auction items, beer provided by Tin Roof, and the location also donated by Tin Roof. Great food from food trucks, and so we promoted that through a variety of We had a flyer, so that was the print material. We also had push cards that we were handing out to local businesses and more like small businesses in Baton Rouge. We also used social media as well. And so after the event was over, we wanted to give you guys a thank you card that you can hold on to for in the future if you ever want to redo the event. And so a big part of Raise the Roof was promoting it via social media. And so, like we said earlier, our audience is really on Facebook and Instagram. So this was the Instagram page before we started. It's a little bare, obviously, and the logo we really wanted to hone in on that. I mean, it's not really the right color, and so we've run with this red the entire time, which we really think communicates activity and passion for that these athletes have. And so, yeah, we had 6 followers before we started, and this is what we have now. This is updated actually last night. We have over 163 followers now, and we have over 18 posts, which really have seen a lot of interaction, which is great.
After Raise the Roof was finished, we did an evaluation of all the guests that attended the event. And the positives were the target audience present at the event, silent auction generating funds, easy to find location, promotion, attendance, the atmosphere. The event was overall just absolutely amazing, and it was just our baby. The negatives were the setup complications, Smash Burger dropped out last minute, and the Bayou Bistro tent seemed out of place, construction, last minute task, and the silent auction minute was a bit too long.
Okay, so evaluation monetarily was amazing. We did not anticipate getting this much money, so this was great. We had a goal to raise $5,000 over the entire campaign, so that's into November of next year. And what we really wanted to hone in on was the fact that Castle was hosting a bowling tournament actually this month, and so we really wanted the money that was raised at Raise the Roof to go toward that bowling tournament. And so donations just from individuals, we had over $235. Silent auction revenue was over $1,200. Sponsorships almost up to $2,000. So before expenses, we raised over $3,300. When the actual campaign value, including renting out the space, actually getting those auction items, would be over $4,000.
Okay, so this is Castle's Facebook before we kind of took over with our capital campaign, and you can see there's very little interaction. This is the post reach, so all organic. They don't pay to have people, see their posts. And then October 26th, that little spike right there is the day that we took over the Capital area Facebook page. And then, so this is the after. And again, this is post reach, all organic. So that means that we didn't pay, they didn't pay to have anyone see it. And so you can see through October 26th where the kind of peak started. And then we all the way through November 15th, and then it's still going on. But, and then also we have likes, comments, and shares. Again, you can see the increase in, people interacting with Castle's brand on the 26th when we took over. And then it continues to increase, over our campaign.
We passed out a little survey towards the end of Raise the Roof and here are the results. Most of the people at the event would like to learn more about Capital Area, which basically means our goal for awareness was achieved because of the event. Most of the people at the event used email and social media to get their information, which is great because that's Castle's biggest platform in terms of information. And then
this is the number of people that know what parishes that Castle serves. So we thought at the beginning of the campaign, that really wasn't something that was known by the public, the fact that you serve outside of Baton Rouge. So we wanted to get people to understand, hey, we serve the entire capital area. And so after the event where we had our information table and we're telling people, this is who we serve, we had almost 80% of people, select the right answer on that survey.
And we do see that the last survey question as, since it's not 100%, obviously we can still increase awareness since 100% of people don't know that Castle serves all 7 parishes. So that's an opportunity to grow in the future.
And the majority of people at the event strongly agree that they will donate to Castle.
So overall, I think that we can all say that we evaluated our campaign as a success. We think that we met our action, awareness, and acceptance objectives. We increased interaction on Castle's social media accounts. We increased funding. We increased awareness. So overall, we think that Castle has benefited from our relationship. And does anyone have any questions about anything that we talked about?
If not, it was great working with Castle all semester. And so thank you all for listening and watching.